Hello. So first of all, I'd like to say several words about the Robin Hood, but fortunately there were several presentations about this, so I can not concentrate to the details. So let's go. The Robin Hood Policy Engine is an open source tool that assists in the management of large file systems that has following features. It works on a Lustre client, retrieves metadata from the FS, stores metadata in database, provides mechanism to query metadata from the database rather than from the FS directly. Obtaining populating the Robin Hood database with the file system metadata is an operation known as initial scan. That includes following steps: reader for each directory in the system, for each files stat and get stripe. In case of HSM, it does fget other, and also it call path to feed for each file. Initial file system scan is needed only when or if the relational copy becomes out of sync or on initial scan. To keep the database up to date, Robin Hood daemon reads changelocks from the MDS. It performs following actions for each changelog record: get of author, start, get stripe, and feed to path. Here is Robin Hood data flow diagram. As you can see, the main communication is concentrated between Robin Hood and the MDS. The OSS is only asked to provide objects size according to files layout. To move forward, I need to say several words about changelocks. The changelocks feature records events that change on the file system namespace or file metadata. Here is an example of changelog records. To save disk space, changelog records contain feeds instead of the full path name of the file. That's why Robin Hood have to make so much path to feed requests to translate feeds to the paths. So now on FS with millions of files, Robin Hood initial scan has to perform millions path to feed, start, fget other, and get stripe operations, requiring a lot of time, days or even weeks, depends on the size of file system and the amount of files. It executes requests sequentially, one by one, producing excess network traffic and load on server. As I said before, path to feed is used to convert paths to feeds. As changelocks record stores only feed, start and get stripe give files size and the stripe location. Changelocks reading phase also produces extra RPCs, fit to path, get stripe, get utter, and start a code for all new changelog records from retrieved changelog. So, solution. I propose an algorithm that in conjunction with the changelog consumption should significantly decrease the time of initial scan. On initial scan phase, MDT goes through all inodes and makes several records for each inode. RBH reads changelog from the MDT and populates own database. So we need to introduce a new changelog record types that may store additional attributes. One for inode attributes, one for non-Lustre specific xatters, and one per each Lustre specific xatter. Initial scan populates data, the same changelog as standard ongoing operations. So benefits are no need to do path to feed, having parent feed and file name, full paths could be reconstructed based on this data. No need to make extra requests to MDS. Extended changelog records have already had that. And no new API to obtain this data from the MDS. We are going to use a default changelog reading API. Here you can see that the goal is to reduce communication paths to changelog reading, and as files objects size are located on OSS, we just need to get it from there. So the main idea is to store all the data, all needed data for Robinhood in changelogs, and after populating changelogs, we need to obtain that records to the Robinhood. So, solution details. Initial scan can be running in parallel with ongoing operations. RBH doesn't wait the end of inode scanning and begins reading and parsing changelogs. As database population is not finished, Robinhood may face the feed that hasn't a record with the full path name in database. In such case, Robinhood can call feed to path or delay this record handling. Initial scan adds the following records for each inode. That's example. The names could be different. So the main idea to have the record for inode attributes, the record for each extended attributes, and the record for each Lustre specific extended attribute. For now, I think that we need just HSM. We need to record for HSM X attribute, and we need additional for file layout. Initial scan adds the following records for each directory inode. it should be just CL create. Here is an example of records for each ongoing operation. For example, for create operation, we need to add create inode attributes and Xator layout. So I think the reasonable question is a new changelog size. Approximately new changelog size should be close to the metadata size on MDT. It shouldn't be a problem because usually only 10% of disk of MDT's disk space is used. But in the future we will have data on MDT, and the picture could be changed. But anyway, we can solve that. For example, we can read the changelogs. We can populate changelogs partially until Robinhood will obtain it and continue populating. So the size could be the same as initial changelog size. Possible improvements: changelog size optimization, filter of not Lustre specific Xators by name. We don't necessarily need all the extended attributes in the changelog. One of the needs is the HSM feed. Also, Robinhood may get a policy to handle some extended attribute data. Also, the status of the project, it's just an algorithm, and we are going to discuss it with community, and if it is fine, we will continue with more details. Thank you for your attention. I'm ready for questions.
Yeah, I have a question. So, basically, you would replicate your MDT into a changelog locally, so that would be replicating a lot. That would mean replicating a lot of information. Have you considered generating that stream on the fly dynamically?
Please repeat.
Yeah. So, if I understood your project correctly, you are thinking about reading the MDT and locally write the information into an L log, right?
Yes.
So that would replicate the information, and my question is, rather than reading the L log to expose it to Robinhood, have you considered the option of generating the content dynamically by reading the MDT instead of the L log?
So you mean that that could be done dynamically, right?
Yes.
Yes. So that's one of possibilities.
What's the status of this project currently? Is it just early design? Do you have some prototypes?
No, as I said, it's just design, and we just discuss it in the team and presents here.
So one possible improvement is the work that was done for the extended changelog entries for the auditing, and we use them also to add job IDs into the changelog records. I mean, you might be able to add in some of these other fields as opposed to having separate records, like multiple records per FID. You could just add them as extended records into the initial create, right? So you store, you know, a bunch of the attributes into the changelog in the same record, just to make it more efficient to store.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. I think this topic could be discussed more in detail, maybe in the developer summit tomorrow, for example. Could be a good place for adding more detailed discussion around this, if you want.
Sure.
Okay, thank you, Sergey.
Thank you.